So, it turns out that not too long ago I hit 25,000 views, and I just checked my phone, and it turns out I have exactly 70 subscribers, which is really weird because I thought it would be like a different number, like 62 or 54 or 75 or something like that, but it was exactly at 70. But what really matters is I have over 25,000 views and I have 70 subscribers. So I thought it was just about time to disassemble all of these things that I hadn't disassembled in previous videos. There's going to be a lot of cool circuit boards. Things are bigger. So first of all, let's go over what we have. We have an LG, what model is this? VX3500, flip phone. It's an old phone, it's a very old cell phone that brings back a lot of memories for me. And I've already disassembled one of these because we had two, so I know what's on the inside. A calculator that I had that broke. It's a pretty expensive one too, but we're going to be taking this apart. See, school actually clear the reset button thing in black because I thought it looked cool. And we also have two sets of headphones, an old Bose, and an unbranded set of USB headphones. What else do we have? If you remember a video that I had, it only got like, I think it has less than 20 views still, but it was like a karaoke machine thing, Hello Kitty, that my sister gave to me. It was testing the speakers on the inside. This is the microphone that came with that, given to me by my sister. Hello Kitty alarm clock, also given to me by my sister. Sony alarm clock, that was given to me as well, by a neighbor. An old car stereo from a minivan with 6 CD changer. I'm wondering how they fit that into such a compact space, so we're going to disassemble that to see how they do that and how all this stuff works. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So one thing I do before I disassemble stuff is I look at where the screws are placed. So on the phone, there are 4 screws on the screen. If you remove this cover, there's 2 screws here, 2 screws here, and underneath these covers there are 2 screws there. So we're going to have to remove those screws, and I'm going to skip the part of the video where I remove the screws. Okay, so I ended up taking the back cover off the screen, and that already looks pretty cool. I'm hoping I can get in more. I remember that buzzer, also that speaker. I don't remember where any of these wires went to. So let's take a look further. And I was right when I talked about what cool things could be hiding in a phone, even an old phone like this. It was sort of the old equivalent. It would have been like a smartphone back then. I mean, I still haven't gotten the circuit board yet, and yeah, it's clipped in on the sides, it looks like. So what are we about to find here? I totally have no clue. It's probably just button pads. Yep, it's just button pads. Those are tactile dome switches, as I thought. Well, that's a cool button mechanism. And I'm pretty sure this plug just pops off. We've got more buttons on the sides, hanging off there. Still don't know how to get the 2 parts detached, but I know I'll need to get the thing taken apart. Might just be clipped on in some way, I'm not sure. But I'm pretty sure that's it for the phone. Okay, so I got my bigger screwdriver. Still really small, size 0-bit. Believe it or not, these screws are actually larger than the ones in that old phone. And these will be much easier to remove. Okay, so, what we're looking at here is, this is the button board. Nothing special under there. We can't really get that off because you can see that board's permanent. This is where all the brains of the calculator are in, concealed underneath that big blob. Got a solar panel there. One weird design about this calculator that I noticed is that is just a piece of tape that our solar panel falls off. So pretty much I noticed one thing right after disassembling this calculator, and that was that the minus wasn't even soldered on the solar panel, which means that that solar panel was never going to work. It was actually defective. Manufacturing defect in this pretty expensive calculator, so very rare, but I've never seen that before. So that's pretty much what's inside our calculator. The only thing that's on the other side of this board, if we undo those two screws, is our broken screen, and we already know what that looks like. Just another piece of glass. So, that's all that was inside our calculator. Probably not as interesting as that phone. I'd start with the mic. Top unscrews. Squeaky noise. There's really not much in here. See, I've already disassembled this. One thing that really surprised me is under there, in there, we have what looks a lot like a headphone driver. And I'm pretty sure that's because it's pretty much a microphone is pretty much works like a speaker but backwards. See our capsule soldered in to a switch and our wire. That's all that's inside. Microphones, most microphones are as simple as this on the inside. See, these headphones are pretty simple. I don't know if I need to take apart the other one because these things are, because it's going to be smaller and cheaper. So I may leave that one out of the video. But for right now, I'm just going to do the Bose set because it's more interesting. And it's the one that it's the set I have that actually has a brand on it. And what's under there? Well, let's see. Pretty much a small version of a speaker with a magnet and two plus and minus terminals. That's a miniature version of a speaker cone, pretty much. And it's actually a little bit of a larger version of what we saw inside of that mic. So that's pretty cool. Now I'm going to do the 2 alarm clocks. And these are going to be... I'm going to skip the taking apart phase. So I'll just take off the backs when I get back. Okay, so here's what's going on inside of this thing. You see the LED screen is on the piece of plastic over there. Circuit board down there. That's the tuner, that's the clock, that's everything. LED board right there for the night light. That green board over there. The big brown board is the button board. Very tiny speaker, only a ½ watt, and that's for listening to the radio and the alarm. Very cheap transformer in the corner, and that's what you'd expect out of a cheaper kids product like this one. I mean, it gets worse, but that's not very good. Inside of this clock radio wasn't that interesting, and in the end I couldn't get this file to load onto the computer to edit into the video, so I can tell you what was inside was better than the Hello Kitty clock radio thing, more bulky power supply, stereo speakers, but it really wasn't all that special other than the regular old Sony CD player. I mean, you can already tell, that's a Sony laser, that's just regular, so there wasn't really all that much. So, it's okay that that part of the video didn't get in. So already I've taken the metal stuff off the top, and already that's starting to look fascinating, but, I'm probably gonna actually put that back on for a moment. Because that didn't really need to come off. We will take that off later and explore what's inside the CD changer, but first, I think it's time to take off some more panels off this thing, because this comes apart in a very certain way. Okay, so I removed some more screws and bolts, and now I feel like I can get in here. I remember taking off the plastic first, and yeah, that's exactly what I did. And of course, I may have to remove this again. I do remember having to do that to get at another clip in here. There we go, I think I got one. And I may pause the video while I'm doing this. I finally got the front panel off to reveal the control board. Last I remember, these knobs came off in a sort of a weird way. Yeah, that one's normal. These ones weren't normal, though. Because these ones, it's the outer edge that was the actual potentiometer, the volume control, and the inner edge, that's a button. So, it's a little bit of a difference. Put it back on. This one's also a button and a potentiometer at the same time, but it works more like you would think. And here we go. Now we have to remove a whole ton more metal. Panel number 1's off, and you can see we've revealed more screws. Yet more screws in that. And metal panel number... Okay, so I missed a part of filming the, like, taking it apart and stuff. It wasn't really on the lens, and, I misrecorded something, so, we're going straight to looking at the circuit board and the CD changer after this. See, we've got our power and our amplifier board. Capacitors, very tall and skinny for some reason. Probably to save space. Pretty sure that's our tuner over there. I know how they make these so they don't skip and they have really good antennas, but it seems they do. This side metal panel actually acts as a heat sink for all these amplifiers. And this is our CD player. I haven't checked out where the lens is yet, but this is pretty cool. If I could only get inside of this and... Oh, I see the lens. It's a little metal thing in there, but this is pretty complex, and I might not be able to get it back together. So that's what's inside all these electronics. I hope you enjoyed my 45,000 views video.